Another E3 is in the books, and it was, as always, a great show. But like every year, there are things that surprised me, both good and bad. Now this list, like all others, are just my opinion. It's what surprised me at the show. I'm sure there were things that surprised you at the show. And if you had that type of moment, be sure to tell us about it in the comments below. Now let the fun begin. These are the top 10 surprising things at E3 2015. Nothing from Nintendo really impressed me this year. Okay, so a new Star Fox, okay, cool. And Mario Tennis and a few 3DS games. There was nothing that really screamed at me and got me pumped. And usually Nintendo does something like that for me every year. So it caught me off guard when their lineup was really, I don't know, just kind of meh.
It is called Fallout Shelter. And in it, you get to make your own vault. And you are the overseer, controlling everything.
Out of all the things to announce at the Bethesda press conference on Sunday, a mobile game? But like Todd Howard said, give it a chance. The game was clearly made with care and creativity, and I was pleasantly surprised as well, even though the game stopped working entirely on my iPad mini 2 after about 15 hours in. I needed a more recent iPad or iPhone to continue to play it. But it was still an enjoyable game. Nice job, Mr. Howard. Nice job. Now this could be a good or a bad thing, but it's rather jarring that the layout, graphics, and other things I remember about Rock Band looked identical to past Rock Band style games. I mean hell, the old instruments even work with the purchase of an adapter? I mean, don't get me wrong, Rock Band was fun, but it's not that graphically intensive. And with Xbox now supporting 360 games, the only thing I need to buy is the guitar adapter. Speaking of backwards compatibility,
and while we weren't sure it was possible, today I'm pleased to announce Xbox One backward compatibility.
Wow, I honestly had no idea this was coming, and I was pleased. Now sure, not every game will work with Xbox One out of the gate, similar to the Xbox 360 backwards compatibility, which only worked with certain Xbox games. Of course, more games will be added as time goes on, but how cool is it for me to sit back and start seeing digital titles I've bought over the last 6 years just start popping up on my Xbox One and be playable? I approve this. This is a good thing.
Let me tell you a story of a world of great beauty, full of promise, full of magic.
I hadn't had a chance to get a demo for Fable Legends. I missed it last year. However, this year I finally was able to get my hands on it, and to my surprise, it was really fun. It felt like that good type of free-to-play game. The sessions were just long enough not to drag out, and there was a high sense of teamwork and timing abilities. It's definitely a free-to-play game worth your time. Sure, E3 is awful crazy crowded, but my god, compared to the Sony and Nintendo booths, the Xbox booth was packed. And it wasn't just because it was crowded. The booth itself was way too small and the game stations were just too close together. Way too close. I was really surprised that the layout was so cramped. Hopefully they'll learn from this, and next year spread things out a little. Color me impressed. The amount of VR at the show was awesome. From games to peripherals, everything had improved greatly since last year, and it was really cool. I don't think people realize that with Oculus, Samsung VR, and Morpheus, we are seeing history being made. If you haven't had a chance to try VR, you're missing out. It really is a surreal experience.
Devoted fans have funded some amazing games for PS4 via Kickstarter. Octodad, Broken Age, Amplitude, and Sports Friends, to name a few. Now recently, a developer told us that they were bringing back a fan favorite to Kickstarter for PC and PS4.
I was pretty confused by the announcement. After all, they weren't announcing the game itself, but rather a Kickstarter campaign for the game. A few days after the show, I had read that the developers wanted $10 million, but then they explained to people the more money they raise, the better the game will be. Well, that's great, but why didn't Sony just fund the project? I mean, I was really shocked that they used the big press conference to announce a campaign for a game rather than the game itself. I don't know, I guess it is a great place to tell people about your campaign, but it just felt tacky.
Tune in, friends. Ah, shit, we got the wrong game. Everybody switch games, we're playing superheroes now. Coon Fritz!
Now before E3 starts, I try to avoid any spoilers. I mean sure, if I see it in my Twitter feed, my Facebook wall, or Shacknews, that's fine. But I don't really try to ruin announcements for myself. When I went to the Ubisoft press conference and saw Stan, Eric, Kyle, and Kenny on the screen, I was overjoyed. Being a huge South Park fan, I was super excited that Matt Stone and Trey Parker came on stage to tell everyone they were doing one more South Park game. The Stick of Truth was great, and I cannot wait to play the new one on next-gen hardware.
South Park, the fractured but whole.
Now available for pre-order.
Yeah, everyone pre-order, that's a good idea.
Shut up, Butters!
Sword Coast Legends is an epic single and multiplayer role-playing game set in Dungeons & Dragons' Forgotten Realms. In the extensive story campaign, you awaken from a horrific nightmare to find your guild, the Order of the Burning Dawn, all but destroyed.
I was already interested in this game when it was first announced. I got to see a hands-on at GDC. It looked fun. A top-down, real-time combat game with classes and a story that takes place in the Dungeons & Dragons universe. When I finally got my hands on the campaign creator at E3, my mind was blown. The future of D&D with my group is going to be awesome. The amount of customization and options to create your own story and have your online friends run through it was staggering. All the tools were there, and I was just impressed. By the end of the hands-on, I was screaming.
Shut up and take my money!
What stuff surprised you guys the most at E3? Let us know in the comments below. For more videos like this and everything else gaming related, you're already in the right place. You're on Shacknews.com.
Laratha Gulgrim, a rogue with a wit as sharp as his blades.